What is one thing from your profession that everyone should know? Mortician. When you get cremated, we don't just open the retort and sweep a pile of ashes into the urn. When we cremate someone, the body is actually reduced to bones. The bones are then put into a grinder. The ashes you get are not really ashes. They're ground up bones. Get out of the way. Paramedic. I work in IT support. Most of the things you ask, I don't know. I use Google. Construction manager. Corners were most definitely cut in the house you just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on. Also, somewhere behind your drywall is an illustration of a penis. Edit. Allow me to elaborate. I work for a semi-large commercial general contractor as project coordinator. I have experience in the field both in commercial and framing residential, hence the knowledge of the penii. It is part of my job to review work by the trades and have them redo work if necessary. In commercial construction, many times if you cut corners or do shoddy work you will be called on it because there is knowledgeable people reviewing the work throughout construction. In residential construction, many times the work is not reviewed by a knowledgeable person or it isn't reviewed at all. The workers on site are the ones that will decide on the quality of the work. If workers are paid by the hour they will generally do better work, but it will take longer. If workers are paid by the piece or by square foot they will do everything to get done quick and preserve material. If you are having a house built, make sure you have a lawyer read your contract and look for a clause that will disallow you from entering the house until it's finished. Many contractors include this clause and can charge you for trespass if you enter the house prematurely. Make sure you hire an inspector to review the work at every stage of construction. And afterwards make sure they do an inspection with thermal imaging. I have seen way too many people not hire an inspector for a new house simply because the house is new. As for common cut corners, they are mostly aesthetic. And if you don't see it there will never be an issue. One common issue that is actually a big deal is with joists, especially I-joists. Make sure that the tops or bottoms of the joists are not cut and make sure that squash blocks were used when the joists are under a point load. Case in point. Pennywood condos in Fort McMurray. A quick Google produced this video. http www.youtube.com watch v equals 7 Kazakh 6 mvzo. It's absolutely horrible. Soldier here. Those with the most war stories probably didn't do much. Those who don't speak of it probably have seen some shit. Wildlife rehabber. It's totally okay to touch a baby bird to put him back in his nest. Birds don't really have a sense of smell, so the parents will absolutely not reject him, even if he has your scent on him. EMT. Don't lie to me. If you're on something, you're pregnant, you had a couple drinks, or whatever it might be, not telling me means you won't be treated correctly, which means you could die. I'm here to help you. And that's it. Oh. And don't be a DCK to the guy in charge of your medical decisions. That shit should be a given. Thrift store employee. We legitimately just make up prices. So if you think the price is too high, ask us to change it. You are 100% more likely to get the deal by asking for one than you are by taking the tag off and asking us how much it costs. When you take the tag off, we're likely to charge you more than you would have paid in the first place. Just because you've added extra work for us and we're aggravated and we hate you now. Locksmith here. Most locks are not complicated and they will not protect you or your valuables. Lock-picking shimming is so easy you can teach it to an 8-year-old, and I have. Edit. I've been flooded with questions so I will try to put all of the more common answers here to save you some time. Having a sound door frame with a double core lock, if legal in your area, will work wonders for keeping your larger items in your house if it is broken into. Just be aware of the dangers of fire. Double core locks are also the best thing for keeping little special needs kids from sneaking out. I recommend Sklidge Primus locks, but there are a lot of good ones out there if you are willing to spend. Getting a safe and bolting it to the floor is the best course for your smaller items. A portable safe is worthless and you can find good safes second hand for cheap. Safes are measured in the time it takes to force your way into one. A good CCTV system is a godsend. They can even notify you via cell phone if something breaks. Your perimeter opens a door and can be viewed through the internet in some cases. Just remember to hide your DVR because a thief will try to take it, so there is no evidence. Having all these things in place does not make your house burglar proof, but the odds of you getting cleaned out are insanely low at that point. I work as a contractor for the government. There is a lot of classified information on the internet, specifically Wikipedia, that isn't taken down. Because then people would know that it's classified. Embryologist. Your chance of achieving pregnancy after the age of 42 without the use of donor eggs is almost non-existent. Teaching. No, I do not just work 9-3, 30. And the holidays aren't spent just being off. I put a lot of time, effort and money into making sure my class get the best education I can give them. Chemist. No. I do not cook meth. Yes. I could cook meth. No. I do not cook meth. Yes. I could cook meth. No. Scientist. We don't actually know what we're doing. Either. Archaeology. I do not dig up dinosaurs. Computer programmer. We are in the pre-industrial era of software development. And even the best of us aren't very good at it. Think about it. Mechanical engineering is hundreds of years old. Architecture is older. Software starts at roughly 1950. We have a long way to go. When a new bridge, building or airplane is designed, everybody knows it will almost certainly work correctly. Major software projects frequently crash and burn and are abandoned. Those that succeed are filled with bugs. Software is not a rigorous engineering discipline. And yes, I have been programming since 1972 and I know a bit about software. Pizza guy. Please put on some damn pants when you come to the door. I'm a lawyer. If you've got a problem, collect evidence. When you testify during the lawsuit, your word means little. You may lose the case due to lack of evidence supporting your side, regardless of what actually happened. I've seen good people, including my own clients, lose cases where I had no doubt they were in the right, just because they had nothing to show for themselves except their own say-so. The way you overcome this is by getting evidence while the problem is happening. Get people to put things in writing, including even yourself. Even if you just take down notes and put the date at the top, comma, and put them in a drawer. That's a lot better than nothing. It makes sense. Memories get foggy as time goes on. Take notes. Get things in writing. And hold on to everything. It'll pay off down the line. Edit. Please do not PM me for legal advice. It's not even that I can't, though I can't. But I don't know what to tell you. There's a reason your lawyers take hours and hours to handle your case. Flow cytometry technician. When sorting cells on a bad sample, sometimes turning down the speed will RFCK it. Who am I kidding? There's nothing about my job the average person should know. Edit. Whoa. This exploded. I was expecting it to get lost in the void of 20,000 comments. For those of you wondering about what I was going to say, Sprittle SRS, http www.reddit. Askreddit comments/18 likes. What is one thing from your profession that CHJQCNN pretty much nailed it on the head. I was going to say that you can turn down the speed to increase the resolution of your sort populations and sometimes get both a faster sort rate and better purity in your sample. As for everyone else wondering what I do, a simple Google search should illuminate it. It's a fascinating job. However, there's little to talk about. Additionally, All those who wanted advice. I'm afraid I cannot really give much. I work in a different field of flow cytometry, and although I can't say much, due to an NDA, I can say that I work with animal, specifically bull, gametes instead of human cells and proteins. Also, I've only been doing this for about 6 months. So I'm still pretty new. Hell, I bet most of you guys could give me advice. Thanks for all the interest, and I hope that some of you who were looking for answers look back to the edit and see them. Close bracket. Second edit, I should also mention we run these suckers at 50,000 events per second or more at my job. So the resolution problem is likely unique to my lab, where we need to crank out as many cells as we can. Fire is hot. Source: I fight fires. Frito-Lay machine operator. All that air in your bag of chips is there to ensure you don't end up with a pile of crumbs rather than whole chips. Edit. Note to self: don't post right before going to bed. Hopefully I can clear some things up here so I won't have to reply too far down the line. Effle. I'm nowhere close to any decisions over how much air we put in a bag. What I do know is that we package the product, place it in cases, move the resulting pallet to our warehouse, then ship it out to our delivery centers where it goes to the stores. Think of how much movement and how many hands handle the product before it goes on the shelf. Then think about how many customers pick up bags then put them back. There will be breakage, but you can only imagine the damage if there were more chips than air. Less chips than normal. Think of potato chips. We take a potato, slice it up, and fry it. It's a natural product, and there is always variation inside the potatoes from day to day, season to season. More water means bigger chips, but less mass. So they fill the bag more but are prone to breakage. Less water means smaller chips, but more mass. So by visual inspection you're getting less, but the weight is always the same or greater. We never ship out product that's less than the weight printed on the bag. I've had several holds I was accountable for because I messed up my weights. Not fun. Nitrogen. Potato chips have nitrogen injected into the bags before they're sealed so they won't go rancid. Corn chips, including Cheetos and multigrain, Sun chips, don't need the extra nitrogen boost. Fresh chips. Do chips right out of the fryer taste better? Well, does bread straight out of the oven taste better? The warmth definitely gives it an edge, but I don't think we have any way of supplying warm chips to the consumer. It's a bag of chips, not a cup of soup from a Japanese vending machine. If only it were possible. Something is wrong. I should also mention that if you do find something wrong with your chips, please call the number on the bag. Consumer complaints make it right back to the ones who put the product in a bag, so if there is a mistake we want to know. If a bag makes it back and it has my operator number on it, I definitely want to know. I can't fix it if I don't know it happened. I'm not sure what the compensation is, but I know it's at least what you paid for the product. Free replacement, I believe. Grocery store clerk. Please be patient. I see 200 plus people a day. I have to scan over 300 coupons, sometimes up to 1,000. Our store has over 2,000 items. At least 300 in produce alone. I can't remember all the clue codes. I can't know off the top of my head if your coupon is going to work. I am not a magician and I can only do things so fast. Bank teller. The reason we put the pen on a chain isn't because we're afraid you'll steal it. It's so that we don't have to go searching for a pen every time a customer comes in. Sometimes people absent-mindedly walk out with pens and sometimes we misplace them. However, I work in a small town bank and we don't have computers at every teller window. In walking back and forth between computers and windows, a ridiculous amount of pens can be lost. I'm sure other banks don't have this problem. Edit. Clarification. Retail manager and former waitress. When you are rude to customer service workers. Almost every time. Any customers who overhear will call you an ass as soon as you leave. All you do is humiliate yourself. Pawn shop employee. No. We don't have Battletoads. If you intake more calories than you burn, you will gain weight. If you burn more calories than you intake, you will lose weight. Health and fitness specialist. I work in podiatry. Don't get diabetes. Edit. I'm not a doctor, so I can't speak about how to treat, prevent, diagnose, etc. I do work for a podiatrist and see feet, most belonging to type II diabetics, all day long. Just take care of yourselves, people. You really don't want these problems. Horse trainer. A horse is not like a dog. One bad mistake can kill you. Janitor. The antibacterial solution you get in the stores will not kill all bloodborne pathogens. You need to bleach the FCK out of whatever it touched. Cosmetology. You know that really fun pink and purple hair that model had in that magazine? If that wasn't a wig or extension, it faded to an awful salmon color in about 2 weeks. Those colors are, relatively, huge pigment molecules and don't stay in the hair very long. Computer repair. We aren't trying to be condescending. Restarting your computer really does fix 90% of problems. Nobody seems to do it without being asked. English major here. You didn't mean I. E. You meant E. G. R. Edit. There's lots of well-constructed replies that got this right. But for the many of you that asked, E. G. indicates an example while I. E. is kind of like saying in other words. So it makes sense to use when rephrasing something. As a former research assistant, just because we use animal models in our experiments does not mean they are tortured until they die. We euthanize them at the end of the experiment. There are many protocols that we as scientists must adhere to. Perhaps you are thinking of makeup testing on animals. Aerospace engineer. If I decide to get off a plane, you should too. Electrician. Not the kind you're thinking of. If you get shocked, get seen by a doctor immediately. You can literally just drop dead hours or even days after an electric shock. Your heart can stop. And the only way to know if you're at risk is to go to the doctor and have them listen for irregular heartbeat or other issues. And it doesn't even have to be that bad of a shock either. Military. All the money that the country spends on defense isn't just going to bombs, airplanes, and guns. It's going to our food, our education for after the military, our medical, our family support programs, and so much more that has nothing to do with killing people, but helping service members survive and put up with a very difficult way of life. We also employ a lot of civilians, many of whom are disabled or have other barriers that the DOD is willing to overlook to give those who otherwise couldn't get jobs work. Unfortunately, it's also going to things like expensive, not even nice, pens, painting the grass green, redecorating places that don't need renovation, and other stuff that just adds up. Though, when it comes time for budget cuts, the first things cut are our jobs, benefits, and support programs. For being our country's first defense, we are the last concern. For Parker. If you jump off of something taller than you should always do a safety roll. Retail manager in college. If we had the staff to open more registers, we would open more registers. We gain nothing by making you wait in long lines. In fact, our lives are much easier if we get you in and out quickly. Edit. Bank manager. Be nice to your banker. They have the power to refund those overdraft fees. Kinesiologist. Exercise really is medicine. It will help prevent most things and will make life more enjoyable. Professional animal trainer. Good training techniques can be used on people around you for some amazing results that make life so much better. Edit. For everyone who was wondering, here are some examples. Any sort of positive reinforcement will increase the likelihood of a behavior occurring again. Not giving any reinforcements for undesired behavior will, eventually, extinguish that behavior from occurring as often. For example, I've trained my mother to stop calling me every single day. I'm 24 and have been out of her house for some time. I've also trained my boyfriend to say sweet things. Plus, there's lots of co-workers I've conditioned to not do annoying things at work. Recently, I've gotten my roommate to do her dishes, refill the water pitcher, and take out the trash half the time. Anyway, this book by Karen Pryor is one of the best on the subject. http www.amazon.com. Teaching training DP/1,860,542,387. Forgot to add this. Just last week I conditioned a male friend to tell me my hair looks good every time he sees. It wasn't exactly planned that way, but he's really responsive to positive verbal conditioning.